Welcome to all of our current subscribers and also to new viewers that are interested in all things that are mysteries and miracles. If you like this video, please share and subscribe. Researchers from 3 universities in Turkey recently made a startling announcement. For the first time, they have found evidence of human activity on a site that is believed to hold the ruins of Noah's Ark. The scientists, known as the Mount Ararat and Noah's Ark research team, reported their findings to the Turkish newspaper Hürriyet. Dirt and rock samples collected on the site were tested at Istanbul Technical University and showed evidence of seafood eaten by humans along with other materials. Even more exciting was that these substances were dated as being from between 5500 and 3000 BC. This puts them in the same time period that Noah's Ark would have been built, according to biblical records. The specific area on Mount Ararat the researchers are looking at is called the Durupinar Formation. Local people say that in 1948, earthquakes and mudslides exposed a sizable area that looked suspiciously like a large boat. A Turkish army captain by the name of Durupinar identified the odd-shaped formation from a photo taken from the air while working on a mapping mission for NATO in 1959. Soon afterwards, an archaeological team explored the site and found only soil and rocks. This led to the conclusion that the boat-shaped area was not man-made. But years later, advanced 3D scans of the area revealed angles beneath the surface that would not be seen in a natural geologic formation, according to scientists. These scans renewed interest in exploring the site to find any evidence that might prove the existence of the Ark. For those of you that might not be familiar with the story of Noah's Ark, it is one of the most well-known stories from the Bible. In the first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis, a story is told of how God decided to cleanse the earth of all of the wickedness and sin of mankind. He would do this by creating a flood that would destroy all of the people in the world. But God saw that Noah was a righteous man and told Noah to build a large boat known as an ark so that he and his family would be saved. Along with Noah's family, the ark would hold 2 of every species of animal on the earth. The male and female pairs would repopulate the earth along with Noah and his family. Just as God foretold, torrential rain started and continued for 40 days and 40 nights, after which the water finally began to recede. According to the scriptures, Noah's Ark finally settled on Mount Ararat. That is where the search for Noah's Ark began thousands of years ago in old western Armenia, which is current-day Turkey. What makes this story even more interesting is that many different cultures have folklore about a flood. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam all share the Book of Genesis account of the flood. And even cultures that don't share the biblical account often have a legend about a flood that covered the world. There have been many theories about how a flood in that area of the world may have occurred. In their book, Noah's Flood, published in January of 2000, William Ryan and Walter Pittman document a catastrophic event that changed history. A huge flood roughly 7,000 years ago in what today is the Black Sea. That would place the flood around 5000 BC, squarely in the time frame of the story of Noah. The authors of the book are geophysicists that used sound waves and coring devices to probe the sea floor. According to Ryan and Pittman, this revealed solid evidence that the Black Sea had once been a vast freshwater lake that was hundreds of feet below the level of the world's rising oceans. The scientists say that the salt water of the Mediterranean Ocean poured into the lake with sudden and devastating force, destroying any life it encountered. According to the authors, the freshwater lake, which had been a fertile oasis, quickly became a sea of death. The Jewish historian Josephus also wrote about the flood over 2,000 years ago. He noted that all of the writers of so-called barbarian cultures also mentioned a monstrous flood and the building of an ark. Josephus specifically notes a man named Berosus who described the flood and said there were still some parts of the ship in Armenia, and that some people carry off pieces of it to use as good luck charms. Josephus mentions several other historians that wrote about floods and said that Nicholas of Damascus wrote that there is a great mountain in Armenia upon which it is reported that many who fled at the time of the deluge were saved, and that one who was carried in an ark came on shore upon the top of it, and that the remains of the timber were a great while preserved. This might be the man about whom Moses of the Jews wrote. Nicholas was no doubt referring to Noah, whom Moses wrote about in the book of Genesis. Still, the current scientific team in Turkey confirmed human activity in the Darupınar site, but says it isn't currently possible to say that Noah's Ark is there. We just know for certain that people were there. According to Faruk Kaya, one of the scientists on the team, much more work is needed, and the research team is committed to continue their painstaking analysis to reveal whether or not the Ark can be found. But it does seem that we are one tantalizing step closer to revealing the truth about the existence of Noah's Ark.